Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of the Dubai Real Estate Podcast. This is your host Tahir Majithia, a real estate expert in Dubai. In this special season, what we're going to discuss is all about buying land and building your own home, building or any form of real estate. So if you're interested in this topic, whether you are a first-time investor or a seasoned investor, there's a lot of knowledge, value to be given in this special season. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell. Your likes and comments are really appreciated. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating and review. Spotify listeners, please do subscribe. Now, without wasting any further time, let's cue the music.
Welcome to season 2 of the Dubai Real Estate Podcast. Tahir, how are you doing?
Very well, Raj. How are you?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to reveal the big theme that you've created for season 2, which is building your own property in Dubai.
Absolutely.
The first question I have is, why is season 2 dedicated towards building your own property in Dubai?
I mean, first and foremost, it's going to be, a lot about building your own property, but we'll be adding some other stuff as well in season 2. But the reason I chose this topic, because we did some content in season 1. We just did one episode on building your own home. And then I also created some content on Instagram and TikTok about buying land and building your own home, which went really viral. About 3.5 million views on Instagram, 1.3 million on TikTok. A lot of people, surprisingly, didn't know that this option is possible. And then I started getting a lot of questions on what are the prices like, where can I build? Too many questions. So I thought, this is something which not too many people know about. And if we can give out some information and knowledge to people on this particular topic, and this is basically the real way you actually create wealth in real estate is by developing on it. Because when you take land, you build something on it, you've added value on it, and the end product is valued at much more.
So let me pick up on something you just said there, which is that most people didn't know you could do it.
Yes.
Why is that? Who is to, quote unquote, blame for that lack of knowledge about that?
I mean, look, you can't say, you can't blame anyone on the lack of knowledge. But the reason why, first and foremost, even now, there's still a lot of people who don't know that you can own freehold property in Dubai. 2002, they announced freehold properties. Of course, not every property is freehold. There are certain areas and parts, but most of the properties which you see being marketed or sold in Dubai are freehold. So one is not too many people know. Now, in principle, when it is freehold, so obviously land is also freehold. You cannot have a freehold apartment on a leasehold land. So in principle, the land also, which is, where freehold apartments are being constructed or villas are being constructed or communities, they are all freehold. That means any nationality can buy and you can build. So that is, where a lot of people didn't know.
So in season 1, we talked about the fact that some people didn't know you could buy your own property in Dubai. It's kind of like a spillover from that.
Right.
Some people don't know you can buy your own property, and therefore some people don't know you can buy your own land. And that's because land ownership is a relatively new phenomenon. As we go into 2022, we're only talking about 2 decades of history in doing that.
Yes.
That gives us a small amount of data to look at. So if you're an investor, how would you summarize to an investor, for example, what the returns have been like for those who have taken the leap, bought land and built on it?
I mean, look, Raj, this depends on a lot of factors. One is, when did you buy the land? If someone who bought land maybe in 2005 and is developing today, obviously the numbers are totally crazy, right? But you cannot compare that because, they bought it way back, a long time back.
Crazy in a good way or a bad way? Because 2005 was a very up market, right?
No, but prices still, the prices were not as high as what it is today.
Got it.
Right? So the prices were still very low. So someone who bought land at that time obviously made a big fortune. Now, it depends when the person bought. Not only that, what they did with the land. It's not just that, okay, if you buy land and you just make anything on it, it is going to be of significant value. No, you need to build the right product also on that piece of land. If you do that, obviously it's of a great value. So there's not one example which we can give, but yes, in principle, if you ask, when you buy a piece of land, develop on it and do the right thing, obviously it's valued at much more.
So that means that there was a deal to be had, pre-2008, 2005 in that area you're talking about. How much money does someone need if they're coming to the table today in the 2022 world to invest?
Look, it all depends again what they want to make. If we talk about building your own villa, it's different. If someone wants to develop a small building, it's different. Someone wants to build a hotel or a high-rise building, it's different. But just to give you an idea, if you're talking about, we talk about the bare minimum. If today you want to build a villa in Dubai, for whether it is for your own use, to rent it or to sell it, you're looking at least a total budget of about 3.5 million dirhams. It could be slightly lesser also, but on an average, a bare minimum piece of land would cost you somewhere around 1.5 to 2 million dirhams, and spend another million and a half. That would be basically the cost of the total project.
And that would get you to a shell and core situation.
A finished situation, not furnished.
Not furnished.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what is the appetite like as we go into a post-corona world, or at least the bulk of corona has now been addressed? What is the appetite like from investors? Have you seen a shift towards buying land the way that maybe 6 months or a year ago we saw a shift from apartments to villas?
There is definitely a huge demand in the villas and townhouses and land. There's a huge shift now. People are realizing that, okay, yes, we can do this. We can buy land, develop on it. Because what has also happened in the last few months, we've seen some record-breaking sales, especially in the luxury segment. Okay, in areas like Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Hills, Emirates Hills. All these villas which achieved a record-breaking price were all custom built. I haven't seen a single developer-made villa which, made a record sale. It's custom built. So this is where people are thinking, okay, yes, it is possible. And now it's gaining more attention from investors that, look, if it is possible. Previously people didn't know about it. People thought, oh, why should we do that? But now it's gaining more traction.
And from acquiring the deed for the land to acquiring the keys and walking into a property, what kind of timeline are we talking about?
Look, it varies.
Let's stick with a villa as an example, just as a benchmark.
If we're talking about a villa, it could be anywhere. You could do it in as fast as 18 to 24 months, or you could even spend 36 months on it. It depends on, again, how quick you want to do it, the cash flow, how well prepared you are to, go in. So it depends on a lot of factors. Sometimes what it also happens is it's the delays because of decision making. You're not sure whether you want to paint it white or you want to paint it gray. I mean, just giving an example, what tiles you want to put. So there are a lot of factors, but on an average, you could finish it up in 2 years easily. If it's something really special, something very high end, something where you need more workmanship, it could be maybe 2.5 years or 3 years.
And that includes approvals, government, federal,
Yes.
administration.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess the big question here is, you're obviously talking about this, you want to educate people, but what role do you play in this? Because it's not something that you spoke about much in season 1.
So look, Raj, I've been second generation into the business of real estate. My dad was into development. I always, from the time I've grown up, started understanding things. I've been surrounded, with professionals in the real estate industry. So I've worked with all different, professionals in the ecosystem of real estate, you could say, which gave me a good exposure to the entire process of development, right from acquiring the land, going up to handing over, selling, everything. So what I also do is I do development advisory for clients who wish to have a one point of contact to help them develop their property. It could be a villa, it could be a building, whatever. So we become one point of contact for the client. If the client already has a land, that's also fair. If they want to procure land, obviously we help them procure the land. We get the right team on board, right designers, right architects, right consultants, put together everything as per the client's needs, and after understanding what the client really wants, what are his goals, whether are they buying to live themselves, are they buying as to create a rental asset, or they're buying to sell, so or to rent. So depending on all these things, we sit down, we become the one point of contact, and we handle all the work right from start to finish. So the client has one point of contact, which is me and my team, where we take care of everything.
One area that was really interesting in season 1 was the subject of benefits when you invest over and above the capital appreciation and the money that can be made from property development. If you buy a piece of land, in Dubai and intend to build on it, do you still get the option of having a residence visa?
Yes, absolutely. Look, the rule is investment in real estate. Okay, so whether it is land, whether it is a villa, a townhouse, apartment, doesn't matter. Once if your investment is over 750,000 dirhams on the title deed, yes, you are entitled for that.
Okay. Is that driving some of the interest in buying land?
Look, not necessarily just buying land, because what happens is, as you said, if you're talking about buying land and developing, you're looking at least a 1.5-2 million dirham for the land, and then different. But yes, this 750,000 is drawing a lot of individual retail investors who want to buy, say, one property just as a rental portfolio or as a saving or as for their rental income. It's generating a lot of interest from them, because 750,000 dirhams is close to $200,000 approximately. So that is generating definitely a lot of interest in the market overall.
But if a residence visa is your main driver,
Yeah.
it's better to buy a property which is ready, because at least you can start making a yield on it. Whereas if you're going to build your own property, a residence visa wouldn't be your main driver, because you've then got to hold that property for
Yes.
24 to 36 months to see it realized
Right.
into a building or
Absolutely.
into something. Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. So that's great clarity on that. Tell us about how this season is structured, because we've got quite a few episodes coming up.
Yes.
I know that the next one is going to be specifically about where you can and can't buy land. We'll obviously go into more depth when we
Yes.
get there, but what's the thought process behind that episode?
What our intention in this season is basically we break down the entire process of development, because a lot of people think it's very complicated, it's too much hassle. I'm not saying it's a very simple cakewalk, no, but it's not as difficult as it seems. So what we're going to do is, in one episode we talk only about land, which are the areas where you could buy, so forth, so on. Then we go into the design phase. What happens after you take the land? How do you get the approvals? Then we go on to appointing a contractor. So we speak about that, and then the final handover stage.
Brilliant. And if you're looking for a high-level summary of those 4 stages, in the 3rd episode of this season, we'll be giving you kind of a contents overview, and then the subsequent episodes that come will be deep dives
Yes.
into all of them. Fantastic to hear. If anybody wants to subscribe, I know you're going to be doing a dedicated playlist on your YouTube, but how else can they follow this season?
So they could contact me on any of my social media handles. They could listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all the major podcast platforms. And if they want to get in touch with me, they could email me on tahir@trustedhomesdubai.com, or just drop me a DM on any of my social media handles.
Exciting. Looking forward to getting to the next few episodes. Thanks, Tahir.
Thank you so much, Raj.